It's been a hot minute since I've uploaded, but I have some tea. So let me just catch you up on everything that's been going on. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Serena. Read the channel name. But I graduated from ASU in May of 2022 with a degree in marketing. And over the summer, I had an internship with a skin company, and it was just temporary. It was like a summer thing. So now I'm looking like for a full-time job. But these past couple of weeks have been very rough. I know it's like such a common trope for people to be like, college is the best 4 years of your life. For me, girl, I really was living that moment. Like, I think it could quite definitely, I will not say the best 4 years, but some of the best 4 years. Like, it's like adulting, but not with the adulting responsibility. You can still be like crazy and wild and be like, well, I'm just a college kid. But all that aside, I'm gonna kind of like talk to you guys about like what I was experiencing post-grad, because girl, it was depression, major depression. And so I just kind of wanted to post this to be like, if you're going through this too, oh bitch, me too. And I'm obviously so much better. I'm a little sick, but mentally wise, I feel so good. And let me tell you, I'm unemployed right now and I still feel good. So like, I hope this helps if you're like going through it and you're lost and you feel isolated and just weird and don't know what to do with your life. Me too. I was there. I am there. A little background, I went to ASU for the past 4 years. So crazy, so fun. My senior year, I lived with 3 of my best friends and we just had the best time. After college, I decided to move to downtown Phoenix. The apartment plan that I chose was to live with 3 random people. I'm trying to be better financially, and this was like the cheapest place I could find. And I'm a bougie girl, okay? I feel like I need the nice amenities, but this place still was like in my budget. But the only catch was that you have to live with 3 randos, and you don't really get an idea of who they are until you move in. So I'm now currently living with 3 random guys, which is fine. They're all like very nice, clean, keep to themselves, whatever. It's just a big change to be, you know, surrounded by a lot of feminine energy, to be kind of isolated with all these men here. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it was a big change. It was a big shock. So the first couple of weeks that I lived here, I think it was like more exciting, but the more that I was here, I felt extremely isolated because all of my like closest friends had moved away. They were living in different cities, or even 2 of my best friends, like one of them lives like 30 minutes away, the other is like a 25-minute drive. It's still far. It's like I can't go and knock on their door and be like, hey, what's going on? Like, yes, they live in the same, you know, state, but it's just not the same. So when I first moved down here, like I said, I just felt really isolated. I didn't have that same like community feel that you have when you live in like a college area. Like living by ASU, it's like everybody who's your neighbors, the people that you live across the street from, you're all kind of in the same boat. You're all going to college, you're all going to class, like you have the same routine. Whereas here at this new apartment, it's a lot of adults, some families, but a lot of people have like full-time jobs. It's not the same environment. I was really excited to move out here because I thought like, oh my gosh, making friends is gonna be so like fun. But the post-grad depression hit really hard and made it really hard to go and meet friends because I didn't even have the energy to get out of bed, let alone go and like talk to people and be like my fun, energetic self. I was like, no, I feel like shit about myself. So how are people gonna even want to be around me if I don't feel good about myself? So the first issue was definitely the isolation. I know I'm like surrounded by people, and honestly, I'm so lucky because this apartment complex does so many different events that like bring people together, but I just wasn't feeling like myself. I wasn't feeling like I was fitting into any sort of community, and so I isolated myself. I barely got out of bed, and that was my fault. I mean, I definitely could have pushed myself, but I was just so like not in the right headspace. I didn't want to meet anybody. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. And then also on top of that, I mean, I'm not gonna dive into this. It's not anything like serious. I got it figured out. But since May, I've been dealing with like some health problems. So like going to the doctor like every month and trying to figure out like what I got going on with me. Finally got it figured out. I hope, fingers crossed. But going to the doctor alone is kind of sad. Like you want somebody to go there with you and like comfort you and be like, it's gonna be okay. But no, it's just me. But I told myself, I was like, it's gonna be okay. And we're okay. So that was just really like isolating too, having to do like these more like serious adult things and not having anybody who can go with you. Cause like I said, all my friends moved away. If I didn't already feel like isolated and weird enough, my skin was the worst it has ever been. And I think after like talking to my mom, I know it's definitely stress induced and hormonal induced, because I tried everything. I tried working out, I tried cutting out dairy, I tried drinking more water, and like my skin, holy shit, she looked really bad. She looked rough. And so obviously that was another reason that I was having difficulties like pushing myself outside of my comfort zone and meeting people in Phoenix, because I felt like I looked like shit. And I felt like every time somebody was looking at me, they were staring right at my pimples. So like, I just was not feeling good about myself. Also, my body is just very sensitive, and I think when things are like stressful and new, it comes out of like my body, so my skin, but also my digestion was god awful. So I honestly did not feel good in my body. So that's another reason that I was like having trouble leaving my room, because I was like, I look gross, I feel gross, my body is just not doing what it is supposed to do. But it also didn't help that like, because I had such like low self-esteem, low motivation, I felt isolated. I wasn't doing things that like helped me. So I wasn't working out. I wasn't eating very healthy. I was kind of eating like shit. I was eating like shit. And I wasn't working out. So no wonder I was bloated. My digestion was awful. It's just like all these things together is a shitstorm. So I spent most of my time in bed for like 2 weeks there. And it was really depressing, and I had no motivation to do anything. College is very concrete, it's scheduled, it tells you what to do every day. But now that like I don't have that, I don't have a schedule, I don't have, I had work, but knowing that my work was only temporary, it's an internship, it's like everything seemed so big picture and so large scale that it was like so overwhelming, I didn't even want to deal with it. I would literally just come home from work and lay in bed. I watched so many videos on like post-grad depression. It's definitely a real thing. I think it's just because like you really have to figure out like your own direction. Like nobody's telling you where to go. And everything seems so big picture, bro. I'm like, I can't, like, it's one of those things where it's so overwhelming, you don't even know where to start. You're like, all right, I need to start financing for this. I need to save up for this. I'm gonna have to start paying off student loans in the next couple of months. All of these things just coming together, it's so overwhelming that it's like debilitating. Because I was so like depressed too, like I'm literally living in the heart of downtown Phoenix. Like there's so much to do, but I couldn't even get myself to get out of bed and go to like a workout class at my apartment building or an art class. Like I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel confident in who I was. I didn't feel secure in myself. So I was like, how am I gonna meet people and like put on this front when I feel like total shit? I also just felt like I was mourning my past life, and I couldn't like stop reliving my past life. And I was like mourning my relationships that I had with people. The people that I spent so much time with were now gone. It kind of made me realize too, like maybe I'm not as independent as I thought I was, because I think a lot of my personality and my identity was in my friends too, because we spent so much time together that like it's really hard to step away and be like, okay, it's just me now, On top of that, I'm not gonna like go too much into this. I was kind of dealing with a little bit of heartbreak. So that on top of like losing all my friends, feeling like I'm losing a part of my identity, losing college community, it's like I just lost so much. But it's not necessarily a loss. It's like moving on to a better life, whatever. But in the moment I was just like, damn, all these things were just like stripped away from me, and now I don't know who I am. I don't know what my motivation is. I don't know. There's just so much uncertainty, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. I literally felt like I couldn't breathe. Like everything was just like so debilitating and so scary. That being said, I got out of it. Look at me now. I did my hair, I got ready. Like these past couple of weeks have been really great. I felt like the peak of my depression was probably in like August. It was really, really bad, but I found ways to get out of it. So the first thing, if you were going through something similar, let yourself have that week or 2 or 3, whatever you need, to just lay in bed and be sad and be depressed and not talk to anybody and isolate. Because I think I genuinely needed that time, give my mind time to rest and my body time to rest, because if I would have forced myself to go do stuff, I think it would have just been like suppressing everything I was feeling and bottled up a lot of those emotions, and I would have dealt with it later and not in that moment. So take that time to just feel like shit and lay in bed. While it's like shitty in the moment, I think sometimes when you try to power through things like that, you just suppress it even more, and you try to like make plans with people and go out and do this. It's like you're not allowing the emotions to roll through. Sometimes you just need to be sad and lonely and depressed and angry and upset. Like, I think a lot of times now we see these emotions and these feelings, and they're like the most terrible things ever, and you're supposed to be like, no, if you're depressed, you need to do this. If you're sad, it's like sometimes you just need to experience those emotions. Like, why do we always need to cover it up and fix it with this and that? I get it if it's been like going on for years or whatever, like you've been dealing with depression, you know, get help, get medicated, whatever. But if it's just like you going through like a rough patch, like allow yourself to go through that rough patch. You don't have to like have a quick solve for it. Allow yourself to have that time to be sad, because post-grad is fucking weird, bro. Like, for all my college people, you understand, like you literally go from, you know, living your best life, like being with your friends every day 24/7, going out on the weekends, you're all cramming for tests, you're all in this together in this community, to working a 9 to 5. You go home, what do? Okay, go to the gym. Now what? Okay, well, I'm gonna watch TV. Like, what? You kind of lose like that zest for life. The second thing that helped me is making the effort to make plans with people, whether that be lunch, coffee, whatever. I think I needed the time to isolate, but after a while I was like, okay, I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to go talk to people again. Like, that is real life out there. And it gets so small when you're stuck in your mind. You think everything is just going on here. It's like that. I'm looking out my window, that's real life out there. So even walking to the coffee shop and just like talking with the barista, or going to a little vintage shop and asking the owner about their day, their life, how they, you know, little things like that. Like, you got to get out of your head and go like see the real world a little bit. So find ways to connect with people, because I think that really helps. Another thing is like tell people how you feel. The one person that I talk to is my mom, because we got the same brain, bro. She got anxiety, I got anxiety. She got depression, I got, like, our brains just work. Her, whatever biological makeup she has, she said it translated right into this brains. So talking to her, telling her how I feel, and just knowing that like this feeling isn't gonna last forever, and that I'm not crazy for feeling like this. Even talking to my friends about like, yo, how do y'all feel? Because one thing I also notice about if you do have like a depressive episode or something, at least for me, I feel like I become very self-involved, where the only thing I can think about is how sad I am and how upset I am and how like shitty my life is. And yes, it's like good to like check in with yourself and be like, okay, am I doing okay? But you kind of forget about other people and other people's issues and problems and things like that. And it's not all about you. I know that's like, you know? And so I think something that helped was like talking to other people too, and just being like, checking in on other people, like your grandma or your old friend, your siblings, being like, hey, how are y'all doing? Like, I've been so wrapped up in my own mind. Let me make sure you guys are doing okay too. So just talking with people, like kind of getting out of your own head, connecting with people, something that really helped me. Thank God for my mom. I swear every time I'm having like a mental breakdown, that woman brings me down. She brings me down. Not brings me down, lifts me up, but like calms me down. Another thing is start moving. Get out of bed, start walking, start working out. Do something that gets you moving. Literally, I did the most low intensity workouts, like walking on an incline for like 40 minutes. Just walking, never running, never skipping, just walking. And that alone really started to help my digestion. It gave me motivation to eat healthier because I was like, well, I'm incorporating this movement. I'm going to the gym again. Like, let's clean some things up. Cleaning up my diet was another one. When you feel shitty, you want to eat shitty. I get it. But getting out of that, I was like, all right, time to clean up this diet. I don't want to feel gross. I don't want to feel bloated. If I feel good, I'm going to want to put the effort in to look good. That'll give me the motivation and the push to like go meet people and go make connections. If you feel good, look good. If you look good, feel good, like vice versa. I know some people think like it doesn't matter how you look, but for me, bitch, I feel great when I look great. And if I look like shit, I'm gonna feel like shit. So sorry. I started focusing on cooking again too, because cooking is so therapeutic. Oh my God. I love cooking. I know all these things can seem overwhelming, but start making like small changes. You don't have to do all this in one day. I didn't. It can be anything from, you getting off your phone and being like, all right, I'm gonna get 8 hours of sleep tonight. Like that's a small thing you can do. Or texting your grandma, hey, love you, hope you're having a good week. Like let's chat later. I'll call you on Wednesday, whatever. Little things that just get you out of your head, get you back to like real life. That's another thing, bro. I think I was spending too much time on LinkedIn because I see what all these people are doing post-grad and I'm like, boy, how are you already the CEO of KPMG and you're literally 22 years old? I mean, obviously I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Some of these people, I'm like, God dang. So that's where I was. And I didn't want to put up a video out because like I said, it would have been fake as... Also during this time, I literally just wanted to be like a consumer of YouTube. And just watch and not be thinking about what I'm gonna post and just watch people's content. You know how many YouTube shorts I watched? I had a professor that said something about how like this generation feels like we need to monetize everything we do, every little thing we enjoy, every hobby, activity that we do. And it's like, that's not necessarily the case. Like, why do we feel like we need to do that? I'm like, so true. So I also just wanted to take this time in my little depressive episode to just like watch YouTube and not feel like, okay, like I could take inspiration from this, I could do this. Like, no, just watch it. Just be a consumer. You can just enjoy things. You can just go and watch a movie and it doesn't need to like serve as anything other than entertainment. I don't know. I think it's something I've been struggling with is not feeling like I need to monetize everything because everything I do, I'm like, oh, should I be recording this? Should I do this? It's like, girl, just live your life. If you're going through it, if you've just graduated and you're in the same boat, I feel for you. It's a weird ass time in your life. It can be really isolating. It can be really like monotonous and kind of like a culture shock in a way. You're like, holy shit, this is real life. And I remember my dad always told me, he was like, have your fun. Okay, this fly, I'm about to kill it. He was like, have your fun, because like after you graduate, you're gonna enter the real world. And I was like, bitch, I'm already there. Like, I know what the real world is. No. The real world is way different. Just be nice to yourself, be nice to others, be understanding, and give yourself time. Like, you don't have to fix all these problems within a week or two. Like, sometimes it takes months, years. Like, we're all just figuring shit out. But I just hope, like, if you've graduated, that this video serves as some sort of like comfort to be like, you are not alone. You're not alone. That was another thing is I watched so many people's post-grad videos and they're like, I'm going to Europe. I'm going to Italy. I'm like, bro, what? That is so far from where I'm at. But like, I'm happy for them. Live your life. Go do that fun shit. Because I think we're all on our like different timelines. So yes, that was a very long-winded way of saying sorry I was depressed. I didn't upload for a month. And hope y'all get something out of this video. Even if you're still in college, maybe you can look at this and be like, all right, let's prepare. Let's prepare. I also think the one thing I struggled with is most of the time in my life when I would go through a dramatic change, it was always like for the better. Like going to college after high school, it was such a great change. I loved every second of it. It wasn't difficult. It was like the best time of my life. And this is the first time that I've had a change where I'm like, damn, this shit kind of sucks. We're gonna get through it. It's just a moment. It's just a moment in time. And I feel like I have that like zest for life again. So I hope y'all got something out of this. I love you guys, and stay sweet.